Evening, boys.
Evening, Sally.
Welcome to The Chatting, your local pubcast. I'm Rob.
I'm Kirk.
I'm Mark.
And I'm the other Mark. 3 pints, Sally. And what are you having?
I'll have a pina colada.
Cheers. I'll fetch him over.
Evening, boys.
Evening,
Rob.
We all right?
All good, mate, you?
Yeah, good.
Marvellous, thank you.
And guess what? Welcome to season 2.
This
is it. Season 2.
You're defying all physics, you, Mark, aren't you?
This is it. I've survived. This is it. I've reached my peak. No more seasons after this. I don't think I can survive.
I mean, that still is another 54 episodes.
It's pushing that, and it's pushing it.
Yeah.
And I can't believe we've not had one black eye between us.
It's impressive.
It is.
It is.
Although it's probably got close at times.
It definitely has.
It has.
I'm excited for this season.
Yeah,
We've got some good... Well, if we can pull them off, we've got some great things coming.
Yeah. Do you mean if we work to our timeline, Rob, and not yours?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll be season 7.
Yeah. We joke about it, but it would be.
Yeah. But no, I'm looking forward to it. We've got a lot of things planned.
Yeah.
How have you all been then, anyway?
Yeah, very good, very good.
Yeah?
All right, yeah. I have got a bit of a gripe, though.
Hey.
Really?
Yeah, just
Why not start
Here
the
we go.
season? Why not start the season off in style?
on a high.
Start it strong.
Go on then, Mark.
So, you remember last year, we were talking about toothpaste caps, weren't we?
Yes.
Right.
Oh, can I say something about that?
Yes.
Just very quickly. I thought when we first talked about this, when you talked about toothpaste caps, I must admit there was a little piece of me that going, you sad buggers. Yeah. Until recently, I've changed toothpaste.
Yep.
And it's gone from a flip lid to a screw lid.
Yep.
And my
Yep.
God, what a pain in the backside.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Let me guess, you're an Oral B.
I've moved to Oral B, absolutely. And
But you go and buy a bottle of Tango and you can't get the bloody lid off because it's stuck to the thing. So you don't drop it on the floor.
That's not
but
just
yet now they
Tango.
started making, well, do you know what I mean? Any bottle of pop and the lids are like stuck to it and you're welded on and you can't get them off
Yeah.
because they
Yeah,
don't want you
that's
to
not
drop
good.
them on the floor. And then you've got toothpaste, which chances are when you put the lid back on, you've only got one hand because your other hand's got the toothbrush in it.
And when you're doing the pop thing, when you unscrew it, the bit that does flap is always facing you.
Yeah.
So you go to open it, you go, no,
Yeah.
I've got to swivel it round, then I can open it.
I want to know what that little bit's made of that holds that lid on.
'Cause it's
Because I tell you
strong.
something, no matter how much you pull it, or how,
Kryptonite, probably.
because no matter what you do to it, it's not coming off.
Yeah, but how, so
Yeah.
so
It's
so with that in
sound like
mind,
Mark.
Come on.
how the bloody hell have they got that over line that didn't even exist?
Yeah.
And yet they're almost reverse engineering toothpaste tubes.
Yeah.
I know, right?
I couldn't
Anyway.
agree more.
Roll on season 3.
Well, we'll start it with toilet tubes.
Anyone been watching I'm a Celeb?
I've seen, I think, 2 episodes, if you can call them episodes.
So look, obviously I know it's been on for years and years and years, and I do love it. I think it's a great TV show.
Do you watch it religiously?
There's probably a couple of seasons that I haven't watched.
No. This one.
Yes,
Right.
I've watched every episode.
This is the most disinterested I've been since the ones where they did it in the castle in Wales in COVID.
Whereas I'm really
really?
enjoying this season.
I wasn't interested in that. I'm not. It's like it's run its course almost for me.
Yeah.
Well, you see, I think they've upped the game this season. I think they've really upped the game this season. Big shout out to GK, by the way, if you want us on a podcast.
Yeah. He annoys me, though, that radio... Well, he's gone now, hasn't he? No, spoiler alert.
Because I think I'm about one episode behind, but has he gone good?
By all accounts, the whole season's finished.
Yeah.
Has it? Is it done?
No, but
Well,
by the
by the time
time
this
this
goes out-
airs...
Why do you think they've upped the game then, Kirk? What
I
have they
think-
done differently?
Well, I think the eating challenges, they're now having to eat more, as in the portion sizes are bigger.
You've got to eat both bollocks now,
Where-
not
where-
just one.
whereas before it used to be like a piece of this or a little bit of this. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now it seems to be like masses amounts of stuff that they eat. I like the fact that what they did with the that they have to earn money and then they had to pay to go to toilet.
Ah, right.
You know, and they had to pay to do stuff. I quite liked. I just think they're getting a bit. I think they've really put it on them this year.
Yeah,
round.
yeah.
Like really.
See, I've only seen the bits I've seen have just almost been, don't get me wrong, different challenges, but of a similar ilk to what they have been before. At height with a strap attached, trying to get stars that are hard to reach, and it's just.
But there's only so much you can do with the trials, because that's why people are tuning in, aren't they? They're tuning in to see people with the spiders and the cockroaches.
Yeah, I think
and
they ought to reincorporate in a bit more of Tough Mudder. With those things that electrocute you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There were some of them.
Were they?
Yeah, on one at trials, they had to crawl through a vent, and there was stuff hanging from top, and they were like giving them little electric shocks.
Oh, there we are then.
There you go.
I think it was like the first trial or something like that.
On this season?
Yeah.
Mark will be tuning in.
There we
now.
go then. I missed it now, so I'm not bothered about watching it.
The question I've got for you though is seriously, do any of us around the table think we could actually do it? Because I'm just putting it out there. I couldn't.
No, I couldn't.
Like, I don't think my body would physically let me do it.
Well, I couldn't, right? I mean, I particularly don't like spiders. I'm petrified of spiders. However, when you start talking money, I think it starts changing stuff. I think anyway. Because everybody has a limit, don't they, with money? So, like, if I said to you, £2 million, you couldn't do it, Kurt? No?
I'd try for
You
£2
tried to do
million,
it?
of course.
Right,
I would try
okay.
to do it for £2 million. I just don't know. I have such a fear of things like spiders.
Yep.
I don't like snakes. I don't like rats. I don't like things like creepy crawlies or whatever. I'm not very good underwater. I'm not very good with heights. And my gag reflex is terrible. So like even watching it on TV, watching them... I mean, I watched one the other day. They literally had to eat a camel's vagina. Right?
I mean, how did they even remove
Nice.
it? Do you know what I mean?
I don't think they do it while it's
Next.
alive.
Yeah, but you were like, oh yeah, we went to the abattoir. Oh, you haven't got any of these, have you?
But even them, at least I could look at it and go, all right, well, it's just meat, if you like. You know, it's tough. It might not taste very
mind
nice.
over matter.
But when I see them eating things like a fermented egg or fermented fish, where you know that even when they're putting it close to the mouth, exactly, and that's exactly what I do. Exactly. And I think to myself, if I can't even watch it on TV and watch somebody else doing it without gipping and without,
I can't even watch somebody brush their teeth.
No, you can't.
Let alone
Really?
eat.
Wow.
Horrendous.
That's weird.
We wind
Is
him up
it?
with it when we go camping or whatever. The amount of times we'll take it in turns to brush his teeth in front of Mark, and it's so funny.
What? Hang on a minute. I'm fascinated by why.
Oh,
Is it because they?
What's foaming at the mouth and
Oh, okay.
and it's just
What if somebody's? what if somebody's brushing the mouth, brushing the teeth sort of quite tidily, and there's. What? So it's even saying
You
it.
really can't do it.
Even
Can't do
I'm
it.
picturing it. I've got no.
Wow. So it's not just about you seeing somebody brush their teeth. It's actually talking about it because you give
Seems that way.
Wow.
It does definitely
bizarre.
seem that way. So I'm definitely the odd one out that would say I'd pay to be in it.
Would you?
Wow.
I would absolutely love to go on that show.
To get famous, you mean? To be all
No, not at all. I mean, that would be another thing, but just
Why?
I'd love it. I would absolutely. That to me is an absolute adventure.
So if ever we become famous enough,
I'll go.
I mean, GK Barry's on there, podcaster. Do you know what I mean? So you're doing it.
I'll do it.
You're doing it.
Absolutely, hands down. And
Because there's no way I could.
You'll be too busy telling PJ and Duncan where to set the cameras up.
yeah, I will. Absolutely. Oh, you could say that line a bit different. But I would love it. I really would. I think it would be amazing.
What would you
an
be getting out of it, though?
Just-
Because you're not talking money. So, like you said, you'd pay to go on it. So, not for the fame, but why? What would you...
Just to challenge yourself, put yourself in an
Really?
uncomfortable position a situation that you think, I don't know how I'm going to react
Challenge
to this.
yourself. Yeah, go and do London Marathon.
Yeah, I'm going to say there's
Or go
different
and do a
challenges.
huge hike
Like you
or-
said.
Parachute or something, or...
I couldn't. You don't like rats. You don't like spiders. Whatever.
I don't like heights.
You don't like people brushing their teeth. You know.
I also don't like spiders.
Here's your challenge, Mark. But I just think there's a lot of things that I don't even know if I'm scared of them or not because I've never been put in the same environment as them. So I'm sure that when it happened, would I be thinking, I've
been in bathroom when a spider crawls out of bloody plug hole.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely.
Don't
Me
get me
too.
wrong. If things are going in your ear and up your nose, you're like, that would stress me out a little bit. But I think I'd definitely struggle more with the eating challenges of certain things, like the fermented things. But no, everything else. And I just love the whole experience of I think it'd be great.
It does make me laugh though when I watch it and they're talking obviously as celebrities and they're sat there saying, it's just about facing your fears and we've come on here so we can face this challenge. And I think, well, no. You're on there for one or two reasons, if not both. One, because you've been paid to be on there, and I've nothing against that at all. I've nothing against. They're there for our entertainment, so they should be paid for it. I've no issue with that. Or they've got they fell out of the media for a little
Yeah,
bit.
they wanna raise the profile.
They need a bit of raise the profile. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Or-
which
or-
again, I've no issue with, but don't pretend it's anything else.
Yeah.
Or of course they're like these sort of YouTubers where they want to. They've not fallen out of they just need to raise the profile from
Yeah.
a starting position.
You
Yeah.
hear them, don't you, when they talk? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm coming in here to challenge myself. I don't like heights, don't like spiders, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, you sound like me, and I'm not going in. You could pay me to go in, and I won't go in.
But that's interesting because like Mark asked me £2 million.
Yeah.
And I've quite openly said I'd struggle to do it, but for £2 million, of course I'd try it. Of course I'd try it.
Yeah.
Would you?
Well, I suppose £2 million might turn your head, might
Yeah,
it?
well,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I'd do it for money.
But I wouldn't just stand there and say, I'm here to challenge myself. But they pay me
No,
a
no,
silly
not at
amount
all.
of money
I mean,
to come on here and fail at everything.
I mean, I don't like. I mean, I'm like you guys. Well, like you, Kirk and Mark. I'm petrified of spiders. However, if back in my mind, I'm thinking I'm getting paid to do this, so I'd just go into I can zone out and go into a bit of a mind over matter thing. I can do that.
I can't.
For the tape, if someone offered me $2 million to go on it, I won't go, no, it's fine, I'll pay you. I'd be like,
Oh,
okay.
In case
But
any producers
the
are listening.
downside to it, though, is that not everybody comes out looking as good as what they went in.
No.
That's
Yeah,
the downside. You know, I do think there's some... like
No,
Oh, you
you're
mean
right.
how they portray it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause-
Oh, I thought
yeah.
you meant
yeah.
because they've not had a shower
It's
or
almost
something.
like-
They've not got makeup on or
It's
whatever.
like a career car crash for some of them, innit?
Yeah, because you expect or you hope that going in there it's going to raise your profile. I imagine.
Yeah.
You don't expect to come out and
With a
people
criminal
dislike
record.
you because they've
does-
learned more about you.
Yeah, it does.
You know?
It does happen occasionally.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
absolutely.
I mean, without going off on it's a bit like the Big Brother thing. I mean, I know we're talking about with what's the actress, the girl,
We don't know, mate, because you're telling
The
me.
actress, the girl.
the girl actress who accused
The
him,
one.
that accused the other Coronation Street star hitting her, punching her.
yeah.
You know, I mean, I know we're talking
it was
about
an
Emma
Emmerdale
Sellers.
actress, I think,
She was
wasn't
an
it?
Emmerdale actress where you know that sort of crashed her career, didn't it?
Yeah.
But going back,
Roxanne,
Roxanne, somebody,
or other.
yeah,
Yeah.
Different show, but
Yeah.
the point is, it can,
And
alter
it
you.
probably has on this series because something's kicking off with one of them,
Well,
with
yeah,
a guy and a woman.
I saw something in
yeah.
the news about Barry McGuigan, and was it Jane Moore?
Yeah, the journalist.
Yeah.
Oh
Jane
yeah,
Moore, yeah.
Jane Moore.
Where
Yeah.
she called him a ageist and sexist or something.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? It's funny because they've kind of laughed it off as though it was tongue in cheek a little bit, but she definitely kind of meant it at the time to prove a point. I don't think she truly believes that Barry McGuigan is misogynistic or whatever, but it's just the way that these words can be thrown around. So literally you've got camp leaders and they have to give jobs to other people. So one of the jobs they gave to Jane was washing up. And she instantly made the connection, just because I'm a woman. Just because I'm a woman, you've got, and straight away you could see the look on Barry McGuigan's face. It's not at all. We've got to give these jobs to somebody,
Yeah.
sort of thing. So then he tried to explain it away by saying that they didn't want to give her some of the strenuous jobs like carrying the water or collecting
Yeah.
woods and everything. So then when he said that to almost try and defend it, she's like, "Oh, so you're sexist and ageist?" And
I didn't see this.
Then
but
what did he say? Come on, princess, just put the rubber gloves on.
So I didn't see it, Kurt. So when she said that, was she saying it in a tongue-in-cheek way, or was she seriously saying?
I think she
What?
definitely wanted to make a point. So I definitely think that she thought that she'd been given the job of washing up because she's a female, and I definitely think she wanted to make a point. But do I think she truly believes that Barry McGuigan's a misogynist? No, not at all. Not at all. You know,
Right.
part of the thing that actually some people are saying about this series, and I thought this is where you were going to go earlier, Mark, is some people are saying that because they're all getting on so well that it is a bit boring to watch.
Right.
So they all are getting on. But yes, she said it, and she said it to prove a point. But this is what does my head in general, if you want me to be honest, about things and TV now, is this, you know, how much do words matter? How much?
Do you think that she had a game plan and that's why she said it?
No, I
to sort
don't.
of make something out of it,
No,
to come out of the other side when she comes out and
I don't think
carry
so.
it on, no?
I don't. I genuinely don't think so. That's just my honest. That's just my opinion.
The thing is, with her saying it, she might have not meant it, but then it all blows up on social media because they pick up on it, don't they?
Well, that's
and
what
then
happened.
people are going, well, and you're like, well, hang on, we're making a mountain out of a molehill.
We end up sitting on a podcast
Talking about it.
Absolutely. I've got some of that. I was watching TV the other day. I think it was like This Morning or something like that. And they were talking about...
This morning or other day?
Well, it was the other day on This Morning. And they were talking about there's a new. I'm pretty sure it's a musical because it won't be a play. Titanic, the musical.
Okay.
And Leighton Williams, who is a very big West End star, he played Jamie when that first came out. He's playing the iceberg.
What?
Yeah, he's playing the iceberg.
Iceberg?
What?
Yeah, but that's not the bit that bothers me. It bothers me.
That doesn't bother you?
Well, it does. What bothers me is they're making a musical of Titanic. It's literally like saying next year, 9/11 musical. No, you can't do it. Well, it's just wrong.
Yeah.
It's not right, is it? Like,
Wet socks. Who's got wet socks?
Are they making a musical of
down?
Titanic of the film?
It's a
Titanic,
comedy.
or Titanic of the actual
And
ship
he's an
sinking?
iceberg. And then somebody goes, "Shut up, you Mel."
I'm not really sure what difference it makes in the film. The Titanic sinks.
Well, the Titanic's not the film, as in the James. It's loosely based on the ship
You do know
sinking.
James Cameron didn't write Titanic, don't you? You do know it was actually happened. It was a
Yeah, but there were no rows, there were no thingy, were they?
No.
That's what I'm saying. But
ultimately-
so is the musical based on the film or the actual real event?
I don't know, but ultimately the ship sinks and lots of people die.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna,
Spoiler.
Sorry, I've already
Spoiler.
spoiler. Sorry. But so I just think I was literally stood at the TV going, what? And it's a comedy.
Is the iceberg? Would the iceberg be a talking?
I'm guessing. It must be a big part. It
is a
if
big
it's
part. It's a big
big.
iceberg. It's a big iceberg.
Yeah.
It's a big part.
It's definitely a big part. But yeah, I know it's a bit random, but I was just like, what?
It's in West End or London.
I don't know if
Or
it's
like
going.
in, like
I didn't
Bradford
actually
City-
stick around long
Bradford or
enough to
something.
see the whole story, which I probably should have. Given that I've brought it up on a podcast, but I was like, this is ridiculous.
This is going to be one of Rob's facts. This where he's read half a line,
No.
and then filled in the blanks himself.
I'm telling you, it's absolute truth, but it's just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I thought I were on TV the other day. I were on a train. Yeah, I thought I were on The Voice. I were on a train and farted. 4 people turned round.
Oh God, that is terrible.
Speaking of TV, though, and sorry to bring it back a little bit serious, but you know what I'm like.
Yeah.
What do we reckon all this about this Greg Wallace stuff?
Greg Wallace.
I think you've all seen it on the news.
yeah.
And
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Well, we keep hearing more and more stuff, don't we, about him. So initially, I were like, oh, okay, maybe he's just having a bit of banter, but he's getting a bit more.
But this is how it always comes out.
I
innit?
know,
It always
yeah.
It starts off, doesn't it? And it gets
It's-
bigger and bigger and
but
bigger.
you wonder why they try to even bat it off. Like, what? Don't it's obvious it's going to come out. So you're either very innocent, but then why would more women keep coming forward? Why are more and more women coming forward? Then he says things like, well, you know what? They're all middle-aged.
A certain middle-aged
Women. Look at the.
I mean, to be fair, he does have a point.
I don't see. I'm not sure I get the point. I don't.
Well,
I didn't really
he
get what
has a
that
point. I'm
proved.
not sure he should have said it. That's the point.
I don't know what does it prove though.
If
Well,
anything, you'd think if there were going to be any commentary, I'm not, because obviously we weren't there, but if we're talking about how people react now to what they would have done 20, 30 years ago, you'd think that those people, if it wasn't as bad, would be more understanding, and it would be younger people that would be more offended by what you were saying now. But the fact that they're of a similar age to what he is would lead you to believe that it's actually quite bad and it's quite serious, isn't it? But
Well, this is what I've got an issue with, and I'm going to put it out there. So I want to put a bit of a disclaimer before I say this. I'm not talking about anything breaking the law.
Right.
Okay, so at any point of breaking the law is wrong.
Yeah.
All right, no matter whether it happened 20 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it is, if it's against the law and it was against the law then it's illegal, and no matter what point it comes out, you should be held to rights about it.
And you said if it was illegal then.
But
What
if it
about
was illegal
now?
then, okay. So what I don't like, and this is me really putting myself out there right now, is I don't like people being held to current standards on something that happened in a different time.
yeah.
So something that we can argue all day long whether it ever should have been acceptable.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's a completely different argument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it was classed as acceptable in culture, in society, or whatever, and it wasn't an issue for anyone to raise it as an issue then, okay, then going forward 15, 16, 17, 18 years and then bringing it up as a problem.
You really can count, can't you?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I struggle past 20. But once you get past a certain point, it's a case of why is it a problem now? It's a problem now because now it's unacceptable. Okay, so if he was still doing the same thing now, if he was still making the same comments now, if he was still behaving in the same way now, absolutely, like you just said there, Mark, if you've got people thinking about it in a different way, and I can understand how you can then offend somebody. But how can it be a case of, oh, this happened 15 years ago and now I'm offended?
Yeah, I suppose the argument is, were they offended then and just felt threatened, and which is why it went by.
Correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of these people that's come forward though are celebrities, famous in their own right.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, if you're in a position where you're in a, quite a, well, we're talking about MasterChef specifically, aren't we? You're in somebody's, they're the gaffer, if you like, and I don't mean
their domain.
Yeah, I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but they're a chef, really good chef, whatever, and they're there to judge people, and you're almost there in their shadow, aren't you? They're, and so I think even
almost
though
seen as they're taking advantage of their position.
Yeah, to some extent, but I think even though you might be famous, you might be this, that, and the other, but it doesn't mean that you're, full of confidence. You just got on camera. You might be a good singer. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're good. If a guy comes to you one-on-one in a dressing room, takes his shirt off and says, "Do you want a fashion show?" or whatever it is he said. So, you might have been like, "Yeah, all right, yeah," and laughed it off, and then run off, and then maybe crying in toilets 10 minutes later. So that, I understand what you're saying, and I wholly agree with the fact that you can't. And Bobby Williams said the same thing the other day. It's wrong to try and judge somebody on something that they didn't know was a thing. Do you know what I mean? Because at the time, if it wasn't a thing to be, concerned about, then how can you know to not be like that? But on the flip, if it's just being suppressed by people because they were like, well, what do we do about this? Oh, it's just how it is. Really?
I'm guessing that you're not saying that they shouldn't, that the women that have come forward and said, look, I actually experienced this with him, or experienced this, he made me feel like this. I'm guessing you're meaning that you don't blame them for saying it, for saying that that's what happened. More so how he's then judged and how he's where it gets taken, how far it gets taken.
I just don't get how it's a thing. So, like, for instance, we're not celebrities, right? So it's not happening to us, okay? But I can tell you something now, guys, and everyone apart from other Mark around this table will be able to agree with me and say the same thing. If people are going to start getting in trouble for making sexual innuendos 15, 20 years ago, then we're in trouble.
Well, I tell you who's going to be in trouble. Carry On team. I mean, that's all their films were based on that, and we loved it.
To turn that round a little bit, I've not asked him whether I could use the story, so I won't name him. But one of my colleagues, one of our friends, were talking about, because we were on about this at work, and a couple of different opinions, and he said he remembers he might have been in his early 20s, and he were working in a factory, and it were full of women, and it was the same, but the other way around. Oh, you're the apple of my eye. And, oh, do you want me to hold, well, you're up them ladder, do you want me to hold your leg? And stuff. And so that's the same, but as a flip. So there is an argument to say, well, actually, in those situations where if it's, a blokey environment and there's a woman coming in, then, I'm not saying you have to expect it, but that was probably the norm. And on the flip, if you were to go to a female-dominant environment and you were the only guy, chances are you might get the same. So the question is was it just a social thing where everyone was the same? You'd always get somebody who's not like that, because that's. But it's, what do they call it? There's a culture, like not mob culture, but when you're in groups of people and there's a bit of bravado, isn't there? Yeah. Whether it's female or male. You look at Hindus, for example. You get a
that's where I was going to go with my conversation.
With inflatable things, and and they're all in your face, if you like, and doing stuff, and then blokes will go out and they'll do the same, but in a different way, but it's exactly the same behaviour.
Yeah. Well, this is exactly what I'm going to say. I think that the other way round still exists, as you just said, Mark. You look at hen nights, then it's all penis related, isn't it? Everything from the straws to the blow up things. Yeah, us men. I mean, we tend to have penises, but we're not all going around with vaginas, are we? Do you know what I mean?
That's twice we've used the word vagina in this podcast.
But even if I think in shows like, let's say Loose Women, for example. I mean, I don't particularly watch it, but I've watched episodes last couple of years or whatever. And if they've got somebody on like Peter Andre or whatever, they'll come on and they'll go, audience will, women in the audience will go, ooh, no. But imagine if
wolf whistling.
Well, they don't particularly wolf, but they do a bit of like, oh yeah. But imagine if like some. Like, an actress came on and all men were going, whoa. It wouldn't be acceptable.
Well, it's funny because...
going back a couple of years ago, I mean, the Coke advert with the guy with his shirt on, I mean, that's a recent thing.
Yeah.
But there were no adverts with particularly women in it.
Levi's used to do it, didn't they?
Well,
with Levi's.
Levi's, with jeans, jeans. Naked, but
and all that.
So I think it doesn't work. Us men can't do that with women. We can't objectify them as such. But women have been doing it for a long time, and they still do it to some degree.
Well, it's funny because I'm recently re-watching Ted Lasso because I've got my other half into watching it, and so I'm re-watching it with her. And I didn't really overly give it much thought the first time round, which I suppose proves our point a little bit, but with everything that's been spoke about and everything how it is at the minute, it stuck out even more. So there's a storyline in there where you've got the female lead, who is what? I mean, I don't know how old she is. Mid-50s?
Mid-50s.
Yeah.
Mid-50s. And obviously she starts, at first it's an unknown text relationship with one of the football players.
Oh, yeah.
And then obviously they find out it's them, and at first...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, and at first she goes, oh no, we can't, you're too young. I mean, what are you, 25? And he answers by saying, actually, I'm 21. And at first she's like, oh my God, no, I'll be classed as a paedophile, sort of thing. Fine. But then pursues it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but watch it this time round. By the way, great show. But I couldn't help watching it this time round thinking, could you imagine if that was the other way around? That they were portraying a 55, let's say for argument's sake, boss of a football club pursuing something with a 21-year-old female player.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be able to put it on TV.
No.
Did they do something like that in Love Actually? Did something like that happen in Love Actually? Where they were a young lass and...
Oh, you're talking about Keira Knightley?
It wasn't a character, but yeah, it was... he's dead now, isn't he, the actor? What's his name? He's in...
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman, and he goes for the younger girl in the office, doesn't he? He's having an affair, I remember that.
Well, talking about Love Actually, I'm sure I've seen
Can
someone...
I just say, do you know they're making season 4 Ted Lasso?
Yes.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, they're making it. Yeah.
I only put it in the group.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
I think he did, but I'd kind of already seen things about it, but yeah. I don't know what stage they're at, but yeah.
Same writers though, because they vowed that they would never do another season.
Well, the
only person that's doubtful at the minute is Jamie.
Jamie Tart.
Jimmy Tart.
Yeah.
Right.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
We'll come back to that in a minute. But they wrote 3 seasons originally, didn't they? That's what they wrote, and that's what they made.
Yeah.
I don't think they realised it was going to be as big as it is, and have gone, look, have we got legs for another?
They're going to make the 4th one and make it that her and him, that was just a dream.
Yeah.
It should never have happened.
Yeah. To survive the cancel culture. But, but yeah, I mean, I get that, but I literally watched an interview with Goldstein and I can't pronounce his...
Brett Goldstein.
Yeah, but I can't pronounce his surname.
Yeah.
And they literally asked them the question of, this has been really popular, would you consider another season? And they literally said, we wrote this with a beginning, a middle and an end.
Yeah.
We want to go out on a high. There'll be no more. At a push, we might do a movie which will be separate to this whole storyline if somebody wanted that.
What better way to command more money than we are definitely not going back on we are definitely not going back on this. What about if we double the money?
Yeah.
All right then.
Yeah, we are definitely not touring again.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mark, what were you saying?
Oh, about Love Actually.
Yes.
I'm going to say a lot of people find Love Actually offensive, don't they? People find it triggering, because of because of that storyline in it. Where it's a bit like Band-Aid. Do they know it's Christmas? People find that triggering. People are offended by that.
That's become a thing all of a sudden. This year.
While we're talking about things that people, I mean, where are we going to end with this culture? Cancel culture.
Yeah.
I mean, Band-Aid. Love
Did they
Actually.
say they thought it were offensive that they might not know that it were Christmas or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like people really starting to pick apart something that was done in such good-willed.
Yeah.
Way. And then in 20 or 30 years' time, someone goes, "Oh, actually, if you look at that carefully, that third letter and the
Everybody's
sixth letter,
getting offended by stuff." Where are we going with it?
Something completely different, but we have talked about it on the podcast. Have you seen that Australia have banned teenagers or children
under
16s,
under
16 from going on social media?
So yes, I have seen this, Rob, and I know that it's now on the table for the UK.
Is it? I didn't know that.
However, absolutely pointless.
Yeah.
Because does everyone know that there's already an age limit on social media?
Yes.
I don't think I've... No, I didn't.
So it's 14.
13.
You've got to be 14 though, aren't you?
13.
Oh, 13.
Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't stop anything, doesn't stop anybody.
No.
Because all you've got to do is put your date of birth in.
Yeah.
Oh, right, and they're putting the fake date of birth in.
Yeah, of course.
I think the problem with social media is the genie's already out the bottle.
Yes.
And that's the problem. Something needs to be done, but where do you start with it? I mean, it'll be interesting to see how Australia deal with this, because they're putting all the emphasis on the social media companies to go,
I think
right, we've passed this law, now it's your problem. You need to get your systems in place.
That's right, and then I think you can look to soften it back up again. Then
But I mean, Kirk's right. There is, but there's always things around things like kids buying fags or alcohol. There's always ways around it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't bring laws in.
Stand outside a shop. Excuse me, mister. You could log me into Facebook, could you?
Can I use your date of birth?
But it'd be interesting to see how it proceeds with
I
Australia.
thought as well. It's then how far does it go? Do they start bringing YouTube into the fold? Because that apparently doesn't count. That's
there's
different.
a YouTube Kids, but kids should be on that, not on YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the problem is that, like I said, the genie's way out the bottle, and I think it's gonna be decades and decades before we roll it back and get it under control.
Speaking about laws, though. And I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. You can always rely on me to really bring the mood down. But I'm sure other Mark will have a joke somewhere, although he'll have to pull it from somewhere.
Me, you mean?
No, the other one.
Thought you meant me?
What do we think about the recent... Look, you know what I'm going to say, don't you?
No,
I don't.
What? I don't.
The law that's just been part of the first part of the law regarding assisted dying.
Oh, okay. Right.
Hey, one of our listeners put a funny joke on his group, didn't they, about... They said something they thought about us because somebody put in Barnsley I don't know what this fuss about is about assisted drying. I've been using
assisted drying.
They've got a clothes area in garden.
Who was it? One of our listeners, weren't it?
So what do we think?
Well,
who's going to start?
I'm not the first person to start. Definitely not on this topic.
Shall I start?
I
think I'm glad.
Don't worry, Mark. We won't force you.
If you can just sign here.
That's what I'm worried about.
Two more seasons yet before we start considering that.
Well, when you look at what's the provisions, if you like, the sort of what would you call them, rules, if you want to say so, that you look at them and you go, I'm not sure there's that many people that's going to get, because you've got to have 6 months to live, you've got to get 2 judges, is it?
Yeah.
Your doctor, you've
two
got to
doctors,
get two doctors and a judge and this and that, and I'm like, I'm not sure that it's going to.
But do you not think with any kind of laws like this,
it's a slippery slope? Do you think?
Well, I'm not convinced that I would use the word slippery slope because I'm not against assisted dying.
No, I'm not against it.
So
if there were slippery slopes, you wouldn't need assisted dying.
Told you, you'd have to pull it from somewhere. But well done, I like that. But yeah,
like lemmings.
Once you've got that first, over the line, that then before you know it, that gets amended. It might be 10 years, 15, 20 years down the line, but once it starts, it rolls on.
True.
So I was more asking the question that obviously, do we think that we're moving in the right direction when it comes to things like assisted dying?
I agree with it, but I think it's such a case by case thing, isn't it?
It's going to be case by case.
There's so many variables of who should be using that yeah, it's not a service, whatever it is. You know what I mean?
It is.
Did they get to rate it afterwards?
No.
3 stars.
But you know, it is definitely a case by case thing. So
Yeah,
it's
it is.
hard to say that. Well, yeah, I think absolutely it should be 100% in and whatever, because there's.
I think that it's once the law passes and whatever, I think it'll be like maybe 5 or 6 people a year that'll fall into this category. We're not talking, 120,000 people's done this year. It's not going to be on that level, I don't think. It's going to, like I said, it's going to be a select few. It's going to, the cases we've heard before, not about sisters dying, but where they've turned off like life support machines. There's an isolated case, isn't there, where this happens and they go to court and stuff like that. And there's 1 or 2 every. It'll be like that, I think. I think there's not going to be many people that are going to fall into this category.
Well, when it first came around, I was a bit against it. I thought, this is dangerous because people could be forced to start doing things that they don't want to do.
I understand.
However, it weren't until I did read, wrote news, and then like you just said, then it's got to be noted that they've only got within the last 6 months of expectancy. And there's a process to follow. Makes it quite strict in that I don't know how many people travel to. Is it Switzerland?
Switzerland, yeah.
I don't know how many.
Digitas.
I don't know how many people it is a year that go there, but you might only be talking. I don't know. Tens maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so if you're still talking that same sort of number, then those people are going to do that anyway.
Yeah.
So why not create something where we could say, well, although some of those people might not even be applicable by these rules. These might be people that've got 18 months left and they're like, look, I don't want to get to that point. I'd rather end it now. So they'll still have to go and do that if they wish. So it's something I've thought about a little bit over these last few days when you sort of hear about people suffering and see people suffering and you think one day that'll be us. Mm-hmm. And when you're in, you're living the life that you are, if you're very active, you're doing stuff, you're working, you've got, a decent social life. And then you get to a point in life where you literally, it's only a matter of time, as in months, and you're starting to suffer and struggle. Do you really want those, the last thing that everybody remembers to be those dark days of, having to be mopped up and all the rest of it, in pain? You're just prolonging the inevitable. So there's always going to be an argument to say, well, once that law's passed, they'll start tailoring it, and then it'll get bigger, then it'll be disabled people, then it'll be this, and then it'll be that. I'm not sure that's the case. If you get done for murder, the sentences, you don't get, they've not extended that to the death row and anything, capital punishment or anything, have they? So in the same way, I don't think that it would necessarily evolve where they would say, well, let's start including people who just aren't happy. I don't think. Do you know what I mean? I don't think
having a cull. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say because we're talking about the future. I think the absolute steps they've had to take just to get to this point, and it might not even pass yet.
No, it might not. No, it'll. I mean, I think it'll get even. I think there'll be even more conditions added to it. I think. I mean, I don't know how many more they can add because you're going to be this. You're going to be over 18. You're going to be this. You're going to. I mean,
but what I'm saying is, I don't think it's going to necessarily just open the floodgates where they go, well, actually. I know you've got 18 months. We'll let you get through. That's not going to happen because you're going to have, like you say, you're going to have 2 separate doctors, a judge. There are enough parties involved where if somebody is being coerced, it'd be picked up on quite early.
They'd know straight away, yeah.
But do you not think somebody should have the choice?
What, freely at any time?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
that's contentious because if you had a relative that was, I don't know, quite well off, and you were you look at that recently there were that lass who they found her mum and dad dead upstairs. Have you seen it? They've only just released the video footage, actually. I think it's probably been a year or two. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'd been dead upstairs for something like 4 years or something ridiculous. And I don't know if it was to do with money or whatever. But she'd got this, Yeah. And they were just one were in wardrobe, one were under bed, I think. And I'm not saying that everyone's going to go to those lengths, but there will be people out there that are very selfish, that wouldn't think twice about if, let's say their only relative left is an uncle, and they've got nothing really to do with them, but they know they've got loads of money. You can go and start pestering them and, but you don't really feel very well, do you? And then start coercing them. So I think that becomes a very dangerous...
Well, she's not coerced her parents, though. She stabbed them.
That's right. But what I'm saying is, if there was it... I don't know the full background, but what I'm saying is if that was for financial gain, she did that and then she's... I don't know, but what I'm saying is if she was that way inclined, she could have coerced them into
Yeah.
Well, if that option were available. I'm not,
Yeah, I don't think I'm not sure that it just opens up way too many options, and I don't think if someone of unsound mind just decides, "Hey, I don't want to
Exactly.
live," it's like, well, no.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't
you're
think
effectively making not suicide more accessible, because if somebody wants to commit suicide, they will do.
Yeah.
But you're effectively putting that burden that somebody is doing because somebody's ultimately got to take their life. So you're going to get a doctor who's trained all his life, whatever, and might agree to go into that line of work, to assist people who are suffering. They're coming to an end, and they're like, right, we don't really want to let it get any worse. You wouldn't go and have a puppy put down.
No.
So but you get a dog that the back end. I mean, we had it. We both ours. We had one. He'd got something. We thought it was some sort of tumour or something, and the other one, his back end went. You guess you could have carried on, but they had no life.
Mm-hmm.
They were suffering. It was only a matter of time, and so to give them the,
closure.
Put out of the misery, for want of a better term.
Yeah.
I don't mean it as grim as that. But you don't want to see him suffering for your selfishness.
Yeah, I get that.
But
what is your point? What's your thoughts on it? Because you've not told what you think.
Yeah, what's yours, Kurt?
Well, I did. I said it. I said I think that people should have the right to make their own mind up on things. So, like for instance, you've just said there about a dog or an animal or whatever. They're in pain, they're suffering, and you said it there. You do the right thing by putting them out the suffering, or they put them,
Yeah.
Whereas how it sits at the minute, and probably for a good few years to come, you could have a human being in the same situation that is in pain, that is suffering. The kind thing to do would be to, and again, I know that we're trying to find the right phrase, but put them out the misery or whatever.
Yeah.
But the law stops that happening. The law stops that happening.
Well, no, because the dog's still in that stage of what the human would be. They're at the time where it literally is a matter of time. You're talking weeks, months at the most, where it can't go on.
Yeah.
The inevitable is going to happen. It's just going to get worse, and within a few months, you're going to be in a situation where you've got
just to be clear, I don't, and I'm not backtracking here. I just realised that I probably haven't been as clear as what I meant by being very flippant about what I've said. I don't necessarily think that everyone should just be able to walk into a doctor's or walk into a hospital and go, "I've had enough, kill me." I don't mean that. I mean everyone should have the choice. So, like for instance, if somebody has just been diagnosed, for instance, with, terminally ill, they've got 18 months to live, let's say, or whatever, that I do believe that there should be a process of that person being able to make up their own mind that they don't want to go through that 18 months. They don't want to put their family through it. They don't want to put themselves through it. It might be, a thing like, I don't know, you fill in, I know you don't anymore because you're automatically an organ donor and you've got to opt out. But beforehand, you had to opt in to being an organ donor. So therefore, you signed up to be an organ donor. Why can't I sign into a scheme which means that if I'm incapacitated with my brain or a certain disease, or what is it, locked-in syndrome, is it, or whatever, that'd be my worst nightmare. I say it tongue-in-cheek, and I'm sorry if it triggers anybody, but I say it to my other half all the time. If ever I end up in that state, just put a pillow over my head. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to live like that. Why can't I make them choices?
And that's the point you're making, isn't it? It's your life, so you should be able to make that decision, shouldn't you?
Yeah, based on a set of rules, which I get that's what we're saying. Do you know what I mean? But you're
talking about a hell of a lot of set of different rules, though, aren't you? For every situation.
I guess so. Yeah.
So I suppose you have to start off somewhere.
And this is what makes it so controversial and so difficult to.
And imagine 18 months. You get. We reckon you might live 18 months, and then, you could live 4 years, and who knows? In that time, they might find some sort of treatment that could extend that to 8 years, and then you've effectively taken that choice out of your own hands, and it's a very.
It is
contentious subject.
I've got a little lighter note I want to bring up.
Oh yes, please do.
Is it about Titanic?
I've been meaning to ask you boys this for weeks, and I keep forgetting.
Okay.
And it's so stupid. It really is. But I think it all the time. Does anyone use Apple Pay or Google Pay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does it ever confuse you when they say cash or card?
It doesn't confuse me, but I did say to a woman the other day when I paid my watch, she went, cash or card, and I had my watch up and she went, Yeah, card. And no, watch.
No, this is my problem. They go cash or card, and I go phone. Do you do phone? Yeah, card. No, it's my phone. Like it genuinely, it doesn't bother me that it's not a card, but it just every time I go, no.
And this, ladies and gentlemen,
Really?
is a prime look into the brain of Rob Bennett. We've all just been sat here talking about assisted dying, okay?
And he's thinking
Rob
about
was sat
checking
there
out.
waiting for us to finish so he could ask a question about Apple Pay and Google Pay.
Yep.
And whether it's a card
genuinely-
or a phone.
You think you have to pay for it when you go to the doctor?
I don't get it.
Time at the bar, please.
But I think the same thing applies to loads of things, though, with that, Rob. I mean, you look at kids with their phones, and they'll go, "Oh, I've not got Wi-Fi." It's not Wi-Fi they haven't got.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're referring to the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, I've not got internet. I've
Yeah.
got no Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
They're at middle of a field. You're not going to get Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it's just the physical matter of it not being a card, and it always stumbles me every time. Cash or card?
Really?
It's like we need a new name because people have stopped.
You could argue. Well, there's no need to argue. It is linked to a card.
Yeah, it's a digital card.
It's cool.
But I still do think this now, though, when I see someone getting a card out, and I think, why have you just not linked that to your phone?
Yeah.
Because more people have got
And
phones.
it's actually more secure on your
Yeah.
smart device, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
you've got to use your thumbprint to
or your
unlock it.
facial
I tell you
Whereas
recognition.
a phone, a card, you can just tap it, can't you?
Yeah.
I tell you what I saw in a shop the other day. There was a sign on counter and it said cash or card payments only. And I was like, as opposed to...
Check.
But check, maybe? Checks are still about?
I mean, I did
Banker's
ask, but I was like, not sure.
I'll tell you what, I've seen
Cash or
on
card
that note,
only
more
payments.
and more businesses that are saying cash preferred.
Really?
They won't refuse pay. They won't refuse card just because it rates that the
Yeah.
for the card readers and stuff.
The card companies charge, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well,
And understandably as well.
yeah, as much as it's, you know, I suppose widely known and I guess to a degree common sense. But I did read something on good old social media a while ago that really did
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, on Wi-Fi that did really spell it out, which was 50. If something's £50 and you pay £50 for it in cash, then the person that gets £50 and therefore they can then use that £50 to buy something else. Whereas pay for it £50 worth of stuff on a card, it's actually now only worth £48.50. You know, because of the bank fee. And basically, if you carry on doing that down the journey, that £50 cash will always be worth £50, no matter who's got it.
Yep.
Whereas eventually down the path, that £50 that you've used digitally or by card disappears and just goes to the bank.
Yeah.
And it's almost, you start to get this realization that no wonder why the banks are pushing things like
Apple
pay and
Yeah.
debit cards and this and other, because it's in their benefit.
So do you think-
they've sold it to us that it's a convenience
Yeah.
thing, but it's to their benefit. Isn't
So
it? And I know
if-
that's common sense, but
Yeah.
you know,
If you owned a shop, then maybe you should say this item's £50. If you want to pay by card, it's £52.50.
yeah. Well, some people do that, don't they? They charge they charge a fee. Less and less people are doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You tend to find it with some corner shops where they'll say
Yeah.
that
They'll
you-
have
a
a
minimum
small- a minimum
transaction.
Very
of
small
£5 or
businesses,
whatever.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think then, with regards to, I mean, you're right, Kurt, do you think with time, because do you think money will ever go out of fashion at some point? It'll
Yes.
go.
Yes.
So do you then the banks will reverse that, where £50 will be £50 and there'll be no charges?
No, they've got to get the money.
Well, true.
They've got to make the money.
Well, they have, but they don't make money from money. So
No.
so they'll have to diversify in some way. It's only like car tax, but you get electric cars had no car tax, but you're like, well, hang on,
Yeah, but what-
now you get car tax.
Yeah,
So
but what you've got to remember is us as the
Consumer.
it doesn't affect us.
no.
So therefore, if something's £50, we pay £50.
Well, it perhaps does
It's-
long term because prices, I think, things
Prices
will
then
go
go
up.
up,
Yeah,
absolutely. But I don't think the banks don't care if the prices go up.
yeah. No.
Do you know what I mean?
No, but the thing is with the money, like you said, £50. So
Yeah.
eventually, when we get to a point where we don't have money, then £50 on a card's got to be £50. So
Yeah.
banks will have to.
More and more businesses though are going cashless. They are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are,
Because
they are.
it's becoming a pain to deal with cash.
Yeah.
Well, I think you've also got in certain organisations there's the risk of theft, isn't there?
Yeah.
And it removes that completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look
Yep.
you look at festivals. You'll go. Maybe you go and buy. You might go and buy tokens. with a card, or you go somewhere and then you just have tokens to spend, or it's just contactless.
On your
There is
band,
no
on a
option to pay with cash.
No.
But obviously, if you've got a field with 200 bar staff that are only on a
Agency.
weekend contract, you're not going to trust them with £20 notes going backwards and forwards.
Oh, lovely. Shall we lighten the mood even more?
Are we going to spin the
Spin
wheel?
the wheel.
Let's.
Let's spin the wheel.
Okay.
Here we go. Oh, it's spinning. What's it going to be? Oh, this is so exciting. Go on. He's nearly there.
The Wheel of Features.
So first things first, guys, I've got an apology to make.
Oh.
Because, yeah.
You apologising?
Yeah, I know. I know.
Goodness.
You
Are you listening,
You
listeners?
can write it on the calendar. You can write it on the calendar. Again, because I know we've missed it before, I forgot to give you the answer from the plot puzzle. From not last week, the week before.
Last season.
Last season.
Oh,
last season.
had that Tracy lady emailed us or something?
Nobody's let us
Oh.
know this time. So either nobody's realised, which might be a thing of dropping the feature.
Yeah.
If no one's bothered. So we'll just in case anybody has listened to it and gone, oh, I want to know the answer. So the words were, because remember I did it in 6 words because Mark got face on because I used 6 words and not 5.
Yeah.
What's the feature called, Kirk?
Yeah.
Plot puzzle.
Yeah, but it does. It does.
Welcome to being
What's it
away.
called? Five.
He says it in the intro, doesn't
Says it in
it?
the entrance, 5 words.
One answer.
So the 6 words were heist goes wrong, trust shattered violently.
Now I can remember mine.
6 words.
Yeah.
I said it
I
was.
thought it were 5 words.
It should be 5 words. He's just moving goalposts.
Stop winding Mark up. I thought it was Reservoir Dogs.
Okay. Any other guesses? Okay, remember what your guesses were?
I think I guessed it Ocean's 11.
Yeah,
Yes, you
yeah.
did.
And I thought something like that. Because I don't know films very well, do I?
Okay. Well, Rob's correct. It's Reservoir Dogs.
Last week's was Kazoo's song, is it anyway?
Yes, it was.
Can we have another rendition, Mark,
hear it
please?
again.
You ready?
Yeah.
Yep. I honestly thought I'd got this, and I've been thinking about it all week.
Yeah,
and
tell us.
I can't get it.
I've no
I
idea.
know. I as soon if you were to play the song, I'd go, yes, that's the one. I'm pretty confident.
we
I
can
would.
all- we can all do that.
That's
it.
But I would genuinely say whether I'd go, oh no, I weren't thinking of that one.
Genuinely. So if you said
I would say
genuinely,
no, I think I'd not got
that's
that one.
true.
But I can hear it
Genuinely.
in my head. I can actually say, like, not the words, but I almost know what some of the bits are.
What does that
But I-
misery?
Well, you
I
can't,
get
'cause
to
you
the
don't know-
chorus,
you
and
don't know-
can't get to the chorus. You don't know what song it is.
No, we've all heard that.
And
yeah.
even when you tell me what the song's called, I'm going to go,
Yeah, well,
I don't know if it's that one.
Are we spinning this wheel or what?
You could
No,
tell us,
you're gonna tell us
tell us
the
what
answer
answer
first.
is from last week.
Oh, you want to know the answer?
Yeah.
Please.
I thought you were playing bits that we didn't know.
Yeah, the main bits.
No,
No.
it's the same bit.
What's the chorus?
He's playing it, I think. Mark. Oh, hang on. Oh, da, da, da. Do it, go. Da, da. Oh, I know it. Hotel California.
Right, great. I need to listen
The
to it. 'cause
Eagles.
I don't know.
Welcome to the Hotel
Hotel California.
That's definitely not what I was thinking of. Oh, nowhere near. I told you I'd be
God, I know
honest.
what it is, I
I
know
told
what
you I'd
it
be
is.
honest.
I wouldn't have got that. I wouldn't have got that.
Play
Play
it.
intro.
Yeah, play
Hotel
intro, because it was
Cali-
the intro that I kept going over in my head.
Hotel Cal. I can't sing. I can't.
Ready?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. It's definitely not. I was thinking of a song that came out about 3 years ago. So I was miles off.
That's from 70s.
Well done, Mark. You got
Well
me with
done.
that one.
Well done.
Are you ready to spin the wheel?
Well done to me, you say?
Yes, well done.
Oh, I thought you were saying well done to other
No,
Mark.
well done
Well
to
done
you.
to you.
Oh,
Forgetting
well,
it.
well, at least look at me when you say.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Anyway, spin the
Demand
wheel.
it.
The eagle-eyed listeners out there might have got that.
Yeah.
At least look at me when you do it. Spin the wheel.
Tiger.
What's it gonna be?
What's it gonna be?
What's it gonna
What
be?
is it?
Have you got a theme tune for it then, or what?
Yeah.
I have actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks to you. Thanks for you for providing me the goods, and I've just edited it to make it a bit shorter because I know you like long ones. Hey up. And I prefer it a bit shorter. So yeah.
No, what he meant was you've done it and he just had to have a tinker.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
He just had to have a tinker.
Put Rob's flair on it.
In the time it took, you could have traveled to the moon. But Rob's Riddles finally has a theme tune. Can you guess it? Or will you solve it? Rob's Riddles. Rob's Riddles.
Okay then, so I'm going to warm you up.
Okay.
But actually saying that, even the main one's not very long. But I'll just give you a little warm up.
Okay.
Story of your life.
Very easy. I have a tail and I have a head, but I have no body. What am I?
Oh, a coin.
Yeah. You've already had that one before. What can run but never walks, has a mouth but never talks, has a head but never weeps, has a bed but never sleeps?
A river.
Correct.
Well done.
Well done,
And
Mark.
one more. What gets wetter and wetter the more it dries?
A towel.
Correct. Okay, so there's
done,
your
well
warm-ups.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
It's more like trivia than riddles.
A prisoner is called to be questioned by the guards. The guards tell the prisoner, if you tell a lie, we will hang you. And if you tell the truth, we will shoot you. What did the prisoner say to save himself?
Now, I've heard this.
You have to say that again.
I
I've
will
heard
say it
this.
again.
So does it matter what this
But-
guy's done?
No.
Oh.
A
What's he
prisoner.
called?
What's he called?
Yeah.
Toby.
Cool.
Toby is called to be questioned by the guards. The guards tell the prisoner, if you tell a lie, we will hang you. And if you tell the truth, we will shoot you. What did the prisoner say to save himself?
I do know this one, but I can't. But in my old age, I can't remember what the answer is.
I am not innocent.
No. I've got to be honest.
I know it.
I can
You don't
read.
understand it, do you?
No, I can't
You
get
don't get
this.
it, do you?
I'm just reading it. I'm just reading it. I'm literally sat here going, if you tell a lie, we will hang you. If you tell the truth, we will shoot you. I'm thinking, what?
And what's he says something to get out of both of them, doesn't he?
So he's not hung or shot.
Yeah, how to save himself.
I would
Yeah.
like to be shot.
If you tell a lie, we will hang you.
Yeah.
If you tell the truth, we will shoot you.
Do you know what the answer is, Rob? Have you read it?
Yeah, and he still don't get it.
No.
So you've read the answer and you don't get
I've
it?
got the answer as well, and I'm still like,
Really? Well,
People wonder why I'm grey.
I do know it, but I think I did what Rob did and went, God, is it something to do with what his name is? Something to do with his name in it?
no.
No.
Not Toby.
Toby. It's Rob's struggling
Got-
because
you-
he's
right. I tell you what, Rob. Why don't you tell us the answer
Yeah.
and then we'll try and explain the
Okay.
answer to you.
right.
Are
Okay.
you ready for the answer?
Yes.
Yes.
The answer is, you will hang me.
So because he's not lying because they can't shoot him because he said you will hang me.
Yes.
So it's the opposite.
Oh, so because he says you will
Well,
hang me, if he
he's-
was telling the truth, they'd shoot him.
Yeah. But they can't hang him because he's not lied.
But so they can't do either.
Yeah.
Did I technically not get that right?
Oh, what did you say?
Shoot me.
Yeah, you said just.
Which is the same, but the opposite, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Yeah, but it wouldn't have worked because whatever it is has got to be the truth or the lie, whichever way it is.
Oh yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you shoot me, then technically they might have just been also okay, fine. Whereas it's the way that it's around that
Phrased.
one makes it
Yeah.
the lie.
I mean, I still don't get it.
Well, maybe one of his listeners do.
Yeah, I hope they do because
Next
I don't
time,
get that.
do better.
You
Yeah.
will
Do-
hang me.
Do better.
Tricky one, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it is for your
Yeah.
brain,
Well,
yeah.
anyway, hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I bet he's just giving us answer to a different riddle.
And on that note,
See you next week.
See ya.
See you next week, boys.
Bye.
Thank you for your continued support with our independent podcast. Did you know that you can interact with us and other listeners on Facebook, on the Chat in Tap Room Facebook group? You can also get in touch via email, innthechat@gmail.com, and of course on any of our socials. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.